Today's build is part 7 of a spring mini-series all about fun ideas for what you can do during the season. For this build, I'm creating an aquarium museum using only the island living pack and cats and dogs, filled with tropical details and relaxing ocean-inspired spaces. And tell me, have you ever had an alligator swimming above your head? Well, you just might today. So with that said, let's dive into the build. In the last 6 episodes, we were building the builds when the weather outside is beautiful. It's warm, it's sunny, you want to go outside. And this build, strangely enough, was inspired by an ugly weather. It was not warm when I was building this, it was definitely not sunny. Sometimes it was even raining, and I was thinking during days like this, where can I go? What can I do? You don't want to really go anywhere, you just want to sip your tea and watch from outside how the day is passing. But that's not being active really. So I came up with this idea, what if we will go to a museum of aquarium and bring that beautiful tropical weather from outside inside? I definitely knew I want to have an aquarium which is shaped in a circle. So when you are walking there, you start and you end at the same point. And at every corner there is going to be something exotic peeking from there looking at you. I was really struggling though with the shape of this building because I wanted to have it somehow modern, I wanted to have it somehow different, and I wanted that it will resemble the aquarium. So I built a shell and then I was trying to make a roof working to make it resemble like a wave. I will abandon this after some time because it still was not looking as I wanted it, and I will come back to it later on. Inside though, I knew I wanted to have plenty of glass. I was also creating this railing from the glass, and you could have seen me creating a trick how you can get rid of the columns in the fence. I also wanted to have it as a museum, right? So I wanted to fulfill all the requirements which are there to have a museum, which you can see then on the left side. But it's not a problem because of the fact that I was placing there a lot of pictures, the Sims when they are coming there are really looking at the pictures, so it totally looks like they're checking the aquarium and watching the fishes swim. So it actually turned out beautifully with the requirements that the game was setting up. When you enter the museum there is a check-in counter. It's not functional really because I was trying to limit again my builds, but if you have businesses and hobbies or if you have retail shop, you can totally place there a cash register or a ticket kiosk, and you can play it as if it's a business. Of course, I guess you have to place there somewhere a room that your sim can live there, but this should not be so difficult to do. But now going back to the build, I'm now creating the aquariums. I went into the debug of the island living because you cannot find this in the regular mode. And in the debug there are all these beautiful items which are at the bottom of the sea, which I was placing all around into an aquarium. I was trying to make it a different aquarium per aquarium, that you have a feeling that there is a variety of this. And I think it turned out really beautifully, especially when I was there with the sim to playtest everything. It really felt like the museum is alive. I've also changed the lights into the blue color, so you totally have a feeling that you are somewhere under the water. But going to the upstairs of the build, I wanted to have like a food court or something when your sim will come there, that they can eat and they don't have to go somewhere else. Even though the location where I've built it in Bringleton Bay, I think has an area like this somewhere around, but I don't know where you will be placing this. So I wanted to have in this build everything which your sim might need to be able to visit this and to be able to stay there and not want to go elsewhere. I was also decorating this food court area with everything which I could find in the both packs, cats and dogs and island living. I found there these food stalls which have the fishes on them, which was fitting so perfectly, or I don't know. Is it fitting actually so perfectly? Is it the fishes which are in the aquarium, or are those fishes which are just coming from somewhere else? I don't know. Leave a comment. What is your opinion on this? If it's the random fishes which are coming there to be eaten, I guess that's better than if those are the fishes which are exposed and which we are watching, because that feels somehow as if I would eat a chicken which I just saw running in front of me or which I was just petting. But getting away from this morbid philosophical question, let's go back to the museum itself. Upstairs, I placed a couple of paintings so your sim can just watch those, sit on the bench, and just think about life and think about symbolism of those pictures or the history of those pictures. Downstairs, then, I created a gift shop because what kind of aquarium museum or what kind of museum, in effect, that would be if it would not have a gift shop. I was placing there plenty of items from an island living pack, but also a couple of items from the cats and dogs because it was all fitting so nicely. Of course, your sim cannot really buy it, but again, if you have businesses and hobbies, or if you will have get to work and make this into a retail, your sim can totally come here, visit this, and buy whatever is there. You can also download a selling table from the base game and place it there, but I assume for the gameplay it's not the best because you are coming there as a visitor, not really as someone who is selling stuff, but the option is there. And now I'm going outside to finish my roofing. What I mentioned at the beginning, I wanted to have a wavy shape. It was just not that easy to make it in The Sims, especially because I wanted that those shapes will touch each other and I had to make it from the different roofs. So to find the correct angles was really difficult. At the end, I'm very pleased how it looks. But I'm telling you, this took way longer than I anticipated, and it's not shown on the video, or you cannot really see on the video how much nerves and how much effort this was to create the shape. However, once I came to a conclusion, this is as good as it gets, I wanted to have also a gallery. Of course, it's my build. I was missing it there. And it was also giving some nice visual to the whole building to create something which is not so wavy, which is not so circle-ish, which is just a rectangle next to it. And this is exactly what I created here. I also used the new flared stairs, which we got as an update to the new pack of Royalty and Legacy, and I think it was making it very grand. I then placed also a roof on top of my rectangle shape to make it somehow more cohesive with the rest of the building. By the way, you cannot really tell, but this build took me 3 days in real life to create, so it was really not that easy. And by the way, I also found in the debug this fish sign which I placed on top, and I think this is exactly what the build needed. This is what it made it, at least to me, look like an aquarium museum, that when you are passing by you know exactly what you are looking at. And afterwards I placed a skeleton of a fish into the gallery. I was inspired by these dinosaurian skeletons which you see in the museums. We have a skeleton in the base game. Unfortunately, it's rotated, so you can use the tool mode to rotate it differently, or you can find in the gallery already rotated skeletons. I also used the floor decoration of the turtles, which should point you to the correct direction. At least this is how it was in my head. And I placed everywhere the lights through the whole build. They will turn blue later, which will give this underwater effect. Was also actually pain in the ass to place them around the whole thing, because that's really a lot to do. As the next, I decorated the aquariums a little more because they seemed somehow a little sad, so I wanted to have there a little more inside of them. And then I created this terrarium area, which is under the skeleton of a fish. I was thinking there should not be only the fishes, there can be also terrarium, especially in the build which is supposed to be a tropical build. So I placed there the frogs from the debug menu, and then I placed there this display which I'm putting there now to put the frogs there, and then I decorated it inside that it looks like the terrarium has really the plants inside. I know I could not take out the frogs from there, so they are still in their original aquarium. If you know how to take it out and just place it in the display, let me know in the comments. I'm not aware anyway how to achieve this. And with that, we are through with the interior and moving outside to an exterior. I placed there fountains all around the build, and I placed there this small little area with the plants in a diagonal because, again, visually it somehow made sense to me and was interesting to me. I know there is a palm and there are no palms around, but again, I don't know where you will place it, and it's a tropical area, so the palm was fitting there. And of course it won't be an aquarium without the fishes, so all these aquariums which are standing there I filled with the fishes, and then I made it smaller with the bracket key and placed it in the aquariums which I built and hid it with the plants, with the rocks inside of it. You can totally do this only with the base game, so let me know in the comments if you want me to make a build using just the base game to create a similar effect. It will not be so tropical as here because I will be missing all this island living stuff, but you can totally make it work even with just the base game and have the same feeling and same effect. But with that said, we are slowly heading towards the end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are inspired for what to do during not so sunny days. Don't forget to subscribe to receive the notification every time I will post. And see you next time. Bye bye!